let me know when I should start.
Hey,
So let me. Oh,
we're now live. The world can see
oh,
us. We are now
okay,
broadcasting. So, Ryan, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to You Have to Watch This podcast. Typically, we have like a trio going here, but Alan could not make this week. So he is unfortunately his engine blew and he's in the pits,
Let's
and
see
so
what you
Devon and
did.
I are on the starting line. So we're gonna carry through with this. Nor and then okay, I paused because my first time leading this, and
You're
I don't know,
doing
maybe
great.
like 4 or 5 years it feels. So typically we also do like a we watch this segment to start the show where we talk about things that we've watched like this week that might be new, might be really old, might have given us second thoughts on things. We're not doing that either this week because it's kind of chaotic for both of us.
We're going
So
rogue.
um, yeah. So without further ado, um, you ready to say your name, Devon?
I'm ready.
Okay. I'm Ryan,
And I'm Devin.
and welcome to You Have to Watch This podcast again. That's since the second time I've said that. So this week, I had the guys watch, which I think, given the circumstances, I think Devon's the only one that actually saw that, since I can't even ask guests he's not here, which is fine. Like I said, things happen. I've missed a bunch of shows. Devon's missed a bunch of shows. Um,
Happens.
my pick for this week was the 2013 movie Rush, starring Chris Hemsworth, and I need to look up the names of the other guys. Danielle Brühl,
Yeah.
Brühl,
Yeah,
Brawl,
Brule seems right.
Brühl. Cool. Okay, this dyslexic got that right. Usually the hyphens above the U really mess me up.
No,
So,
you nailed it.
um, Olivia Wilde as well is in it, and it was a Ron Howard film. So you've got a lot of top names in is in this movie. Now, my experience with this film. I watched it for the first time like 4 years ago, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. It was a movie that I saw being advertised. It's like, oh, cool, a racing movie. I knew that it had some something to do with F1. At that point, I didn't really care that much about it. So I was like, if I come across this at some point, naturally I'll watch it. It seems interesting enough. 9 years later is eventually when that happened. I was watching the Netflix series Drive to Survive. I was starting to get interested into F1, and I saw that this was available on Netflix at the time, so I decided to watch it. And the next thing I knew, I was trying to find the streaming service for F1 because I really wanted to watch the next race after this because it was a combination of the show and this. It was the first season of the show, I believe, and it just kind of like took me off. And now on my desk, I just don't have a mini of
Ah.
Max Verstappen's F1 car from or the RB19, which had a bunch of records in. I have a bigger one from his the winner from 2022.
It's
So
incredible.
I've become a massive F1 fan. I'm still learning. I don't know everything yet, as most infants in their new fandom are. So that's my experience with this film. Devin, what's your history is with this film, if you have one?
I thought that the very first movie about F1 or about Formula One was called F1 and just released in theaters. I didn't
Yeah.
know there was a second, or maybe even a third. There's probably more I don't know. I didn't know that there were
Oh,
movies about this. I didn't know this was
yeah.
Chris Hemsworth at all. I didn't. This movie completely passed me by. I don't think I've even seen like a trailer or like a mention of it. I came into this completely open and had no idea.
Okay. So before I get into the whole thing, so you had no idea that this movie was based on true events then?
Not until the very end when they were like,
Hmm.
"Here's a picture of what Hunt looks like next to Chris Hemsworth," and I went, "Oh,
Yeah.
oh, these are real people."
Okay. So that actually starts off. That actually starts this off perfectly. Um, I did not realize that this was based on true events either.
Oh wow.
When I first started watching it, I knew that it was after about 15 minutes when I paused the movie because I thought the beginning because I thought the opening was a little weird when it came to the narration.
Okay, thank you. Yep.
So so I paused it and I decided to look up Nicky Lauda, and that's when I found out that he's a real driver. James Hunt's a real driver. I looked up their stats. I looked up their race wins.
Huh.
Um, just like the stats you can find on Wikipedia
Hmm.
for like any athlete or driver, and then like the quick synopsis of like summary of their life. Like
Hmm.
you can do that in like under like 2 minutes
Of course you can.
for any driver is or athlete. So then after I read that, obviously I knew about the big horrible event that was going to happen, but I also knew that like that actually happened and the ridiculousness that seems like it's fake is true. Um, and so Devon, what part of this, if this was a fictional movie, if this was just a made up story about two drivers in the 70s driving in F1, what would have been the most ridiculous moment in this movie for you?
Oh, easy. It's burn victim going, okay, I've been bedridden for like a week. I'm gonna go race now. And then, like, not just doing it, but like nailing it. Like, beating the
Yeah.
replacement that they put in. Like, they did a good job of
Hmm.
showing that he had a bit of trauma from, like, that race, but
Yeah.
overcoming that so completely and genuinely nailing it. I think that there's another part that kind of ties for a second for me, but I'm gonna say that one for now.
Okay. Um, I have to agree.
Okay.
Because the actual moment for me has to do with that. It's the process. It's one of the medical procedures they do
Oh,
um,
you
during
didn't
that
warn
whole
me.
thing.
This was a body horror movie, Ryan. Ah!
So yeah, sorry, I didn't think you'd mind.
Oh my God, Ryan! Tell
so,
the audience what we're
um,
talking about.
he was in the car for a minute when it was on fire, and those old F1 cars, you are sitting in the cockpit, kind of like the way that the modern F1 cars are laid out today.
Hmm.
So when you're sitting in the, the cockpit up the cot whatever the driver's seat up front, in the older cars, because to be honest, like I said, I'm new at this. I don't really know where the gas tank is for the new F1 cars, but the old ones were literally behind the seat. Like
Oh.
metal that the seat was attached to was the like outside perimeter or like the first shell of the gas tank. Um, and so he literally sat in a ball of fire for a minute. And
Wow.
he got his lungs were probably the most damaged
Hmm.
besides like the part of his like head that was like third degree burns. And they had to vacuum out his lungs. And they show that process how it was done in the mid 70s. And it is literally a metal pipe that goes down the throat and vacuum up the crap that's just sitting in your lungs. And they show that it was just rage in him and jealousy that pushed him through that. Because there's a scene where they're done for the session, and Nikki's like, "No, continue, get it
Yep.
all." And the doctor and nurse are looking at each other like, "Are you sure your lungs are bruised?" And he's like, "No, continue."
So like,
And
let's do
I was
it.
just like, I've had enough medical procedures with my own medical history where I didn't really either one react to the pain medication that they thought I was going to, but they had already started the procedure, so there's no point in stopping. They just kind of push through. So I've had moments like that, but nothing to that scale. Nothing
Hmm.
to what I could have ever imagined that would feel like. Um, so That's awesome. I wanted to get that out of the way because that was the one thing that I was kind of hoping for, that you weren't going to realize that this was real
Yeah.
until at least the very end, or until I sent you that documentary. um,
Yeah.
yes. Uh, like two, or was it yesterday or the day before?
I think it was yesterday you sent it to me.
Okay. Yeah. So I was hoping that that was going to be the case, because that great. I'm happy that you had that experience of like watching it and then realizing that it was based on true events.
Yes.
Um, so to go over the movie real quick, James Hunt and Nikki Lauda are competitors, and they show their mingling in F3 and F2, which are sub categories of F1.
Didn't know those were
And it
things, by the way.
shows,
Didn't know there were multiple Fs.
yes. So there's so F3, a bunch of teachers,
Bunch of
pretty
what?
much, and a bunch of teenagers.
Oh.
And the same deal with, like F2. Like these are all drivers that are developing, or like, you're an American, even if you don't want to say it. So, Major Baseball, they have the
Yeah.
minors,
Yeah.
like double A, triple A, and then you get up into the majors. It's the same deal. It's
Oh.
all for driver development. And all of the main teams in F1, each team having two cars, have sub teams, or they work with the teams
Like
so
farm
that they
teams.
can, pretty much. Um, Sometimes they're directly owned by the first team, or at least by the person who owns the first team, or it's like a corporation, or it's just a standalone F2 team or like F3 team that partners with one of the major teams, or they're independent.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of different ways to do it. Um, or that is the assumption I've made over the podcasts that I've listened to, the documentaries that I've watched. So if I have misunderstood any of that and am translating that incorrectly, by all means, we're saying this on the internet, so someone who knows is going to be mad at me and then correct me in the comments.
Correct
Just go
us,
to the
man.
comments and someone will correct me.
Do me a favor. Get mad at
Um,
me, though, for not correcting Ryan. Don't get mad at Ryan for saying it. Get mad at me for not correcting it.
it doesn't matter, Devon, that you don't know anything. You should be
It,
correcting him.
it does matter. It always matters.
Yeah. So it shows that, and then they also show the type of persons they are. Where Nikki is like a scientist about it. He's very like almost like the combination of like a science professor and a philosophy professor rolled into one person about driving.
Yeah.
Very, very like headstrong and focused about it. And then you have James Hunt, who is exactly what I imagine every F1 driver to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just the persona that I see every F1 driver having. So that's who James Hunt is. They're competitors, they're kind of friends, they're enemies that respect each other, however you want to put it. Like they're competitors, but they admire, but they, but they also respect each other.
Yeah.
And Nicky gets into a very horrible crash that he probably should not have survived, and then comes back to race after a month of that crash with basically healing third degree burns on his head. And they show him fighting through the pain to put the helmet on, so that he knows how much it's going to hurt to do it. And then they show that like both of them become world champions, meaning that they like won enough races or ended in the top 3 enough times to collect enough points to be crowned world champion for that season. James Hunt only wanted it at least once to prove that he could do it, and that's all he got. Nicky Lauda wanted it every single season and did it a few times. I don't know the exact number. That's why I'm saying a few. And then they kind of go over like how their friendship was for the rest of it. Now this sounds very documentary. It's it definitely sounds kind of like a non-fiction type, kind of like boring type movie, but it is not, as far as I'm concerned. So that's pretty much the movie in a gist. Devon, do you have any thoughts? Like
I have
questions, things you want to bring up? Okay.
Yeah, man. So first off, watching this movie afterwards, I like the second the movie ended, I'm like, all right, I get it. Like I get it. I get why people like F1. I get it now.
Mm,
It's very cool. These people are cool. These characters are cool. I can't tell you how much of a relief it was for me that it was like semi biographical or semi real,
yeah.
specifically because I had such a problem with Lauda for like the first 30 minutes of the movie. Mostly because I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, all right, he's analytical and he's calculating, and they friggin' make him a German. All right, or he's Austrian, I think. But I'm like, God, they have to give the guy. We must calculate the probability of winning Hunt. I'm like, stop it. Like, calm down with this stereotype. And then I found out like it's based on a real guy. Fine, totally fine with that. I'm not mad at the movie anymore. Um, and also it made the opening the you're probably wondering what I'm doing here now, yeah. Like, probably made that part a little bit better because he doesn't do that in the
Yeah.
opening, but he just says like, I'm known for this. Like, I'm not known for this thing that's happening now. I'm known for what's going to happen next. And I mean, the whole movie, right? Me not understanding this was biographical, just went, he's going to die in the crash then. Got it. This is a 6 year lead up to me watching him die in a fiery crash. And like the
Yeah.
fiery crash happened, and I went, all right, that's the thing. Great. But we weren't done with the movie yet, and I thought that was going to be like the
Half
big
over.
dramatic scene. Right, it was literally half over. And
Yeah.
I'm like, is the rest of it his funeral? Like, is Hunt gonna? I don't know. But that part, I really loved. What the thing that I'm curious about for you, because this did get you into Formula One. Part of what got you into Formula One. What
Yeah.
what about the movie was like? This is the thing I'm gonna watch now for you, because there was a part where I was like, I get it.
Mm.
And I'll talk about my part, but you at least watched stuff before this. What like pushed you over the
Yeah.
edge here?
So, what got me into so this is kind of a two-part formula for me. And part one was Drive to Survive on Netflix. And watching that show, what kept me watching it was having very candid interviews with the drivers, very candid interviews with the, like team managers or pit bosses, however, whatever term you want to use. Um, and just the frankness about, yes, he's my teammate, but I want to beat him. I hate
Oh
him on
yeah,
the track. He might be my, like that mentality was very interesting to me because as an American with team sports, like everyone has each other's back 100% of the time, or the team doesn't win and you lose. So like it was very interesting to see like a team slash like inner competition mentality. So that was new to me and that intrigued me.
mm-hmm.
Um, and then also seeing the passion the drivers and everyone else had for like the different tracks. How like
Yeah,
some tracks they didn't really go over. They're like, oh yeah, next week's in Canada. Let's drive in Canada. But
yeah.
then they're like, next week's in Spain. I love this track. My grandfather took me to this track. And
Aw.
like how like the different, like how much different tracks weighed to like different people.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting to me. Like I was connecting a lot with it through like baseball because like that's the same thing. Like there are some stadiums that are just a good baseball stadium.
Yeah,
Some tracks are just a good track. But then you have like Wrigley Field, Spain. You've got uh uh you've got the people are gonna hate me this.
yeah.
The Red Sox Stadium. I almost said Lambeau. Oh my god.
Oh, uh-oh. I know that one.
I'm having a bad moment right now. The Red Sox Stadium. I feel horrible. Because you're
Fenway.
gonna say it, and I'm gonna Fenway. I want to rip my head off right now. This is horrible. So anyway, like you've got Fenway and you've got Monaco. Like you've got stadiums that to me kind of equal the tracks when it comes to like, you know, when it comes to like historicness and like history within the sport itself, and then you have drivers and the egos and everything, and that was really intriguing to me. And then I watched this movie, and um it showed me the respect that the drivers that like have for each other, even though they would like open wheeled racing, touching the wheels on an open wheeled race car.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that they would do that to each other and the dangers that like that can have, but they're basically friends.
Yeah.
And like that whole mentality to me was just out of the water. I knew that racing is still as dangerous, even though the stats show it's not as deadly as it used to be, which is
Mm-hmm.
a very good thing. Um, but just that is just it's hard for me to put it very simply. But like it was a combination of watching the respect between these two, basically basically F1 um, historical figures, and the technology that they had, because around the same time, like I was in a huge car phase because um, Drive to Survive came out. I was also going through my second full rewatch of Top Gear,
Oh, sure.
and then I watched this movie. And one of the episodes of Top Gear that I'd seen within this time frame was talking about some driver in F1 in the 70s, and they touched on that one car that you see in the background that has the six wheels.
Oh,
It's got
yeah.
the two back wheels and the
Yeah.
four up front, like that real car.
Wow.
Like F1, I don't know what all of the restrictions were on like how you made those about what like what dimensions the car fit in. It's a lot more stricter now than it was back then, but it almost feels like back then that they were like the car can only be this wide and this long
Yeah.
and this high. Other than that, have fun.
Whatever you
Because
do
all the
in
cars
between
look
those
extremely different.
dimensions. Yeah.
Yeah. Um and then so like kind of knowing like the mad scientist phase of like the 70s, and then knowing that this storyline happened like this, like this actually happened in the 70s, and then of course like on top of seeing how things are now, and Drive to Survive made it easy for me to learn who the drivers were and
Yeah.
who the teams were and how the business aspect happens is on the back end. It took me from my childhood to my early 20s to learn all of that for baseball, football, and hockey. Going from just being a childhood fan to being a enthusiastic teenager about my winning teams, and then in my 20s learning about how the actual business of the aspect of the sport works, and then like using that to manage my expectations for each season.
Sure.
And so Drive to Survive, this movie, and a few episodes from Top Gear basically put me on a crash course for F1. And I didn't even know until I was done finishing watching Rush. And now I've paid for my second season of F1 TV, and I miss a race unless it's on at like 1 in the morning because they're driving in Australia or China or Japan. Like,
That's incredible. I think for me it was seeing. I mean, I liked the egos in it. I liked the complex relationships that everybody had with each other. Where like, you're right. It's a
yeah.
team sport, but there's a time when Lauda like talks about his replacement driver, and they're like, they put the replacement driver in before I made it to the hospital, and like that sucks. Or he talks about
hmm
how like I'm a faster driver than my replacement. I'll just beat him. And I'm like, wait a minute, are they? So this is stupid. Are both of them racing in every race? Are both the driver and the backup driver racing?
So I don't know how that was done
Okay.
after that race. I
Okay.
haven't looked that type of information up. Um, because I don't even know how long, like in the movie they show that he's going to be like a partner with this other driver who's Italian,
Yeah.
and I don't know how long he was his team partner for,
Hmm.
because when they say that they brought this other guy in, as far as I know, teams can only race two cars. I mean, that's
Yeah.
modern era. Like each team has two cars. I don't know how it was in the 70s. They could have been able to let them have three. because I know now they have the constructors championship, which like you have the drivers championship where the individual drivers collect points depending on like where they finish.
Yeah.
But then those points also, I believe, I could be wrong, I've assumed that those points for both drivers then add together to 1 point, and then that gets added to that team score. So at the end
Sure.
of the year, you could have like, like a Lando Norris or a Max Verstappen win the drivers' championship, but then Ferrari might be the constructors' championship
Sure.
because those two drivers finished like those two drivers were constantly coming in first, second, and maybe third sometimes.
Yeah.
But Ferrari was always coming in at second, third, fourth, or fifth with
Uh-huh.
both their cars.
And that's what did it.
And so and so I don't know how the constructors championship was done in the 70s.
Sure.
I I would assume there was one, I think, because I haven't like I haven't heard anyone say like, oh, it's like, oh, the constructors championship, which started in like 1982 or something. I haven't heard anyone say anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
I'm really glad they didn't
like I
get
said,
into
I'm a
that.
newbie to all of this.
No, well, I mean, what it did is it streamlined
Yeah.
the movie, right? Where the stakes didn't feel
Yeah.
like Ferrari was racing McLaren. The stakes felt like,
Yeah.
Hunt was racing against Lauda, and like that's
Yeah.
really where the focus of the movie was. And I like so much them. Like I like their back and forth. I like their
Mm-hmm.
banter. I like their different approaches to racing, and I like how the different approaches to
Yeah.
racing were reflected in both of their lives, which I thought was like a
Yeah.
very cool reflection of that. I wonder, like, and I know we'll go into this later, but like, I really wonder what the difference is in like that portrayal of them and real life. Like, was Lauda really
Yeah.
this cold calculating? Did he have that 20% rule in real life where he would only take a risk if it represented 20% total? Or, was Hunt really like, well, I live really close to death all the time and I'm just going to do it?
Yeah.
And like the other part that like gets me
um.
is that like there are
Yeah.
tropes in this movie, and this I might have to like lean on you for, because there are two tropes in this
Mm-hmm.
movie that when I watched it I like cringed until I realized this is a thing that just happens, right? Or this is a real life
Yeah.
thing. The first one is the main character can just make a better car than anyone else. Where Lauda walks in and he's like, "The car's bad. Here's a better car," and like overnight produces a better F1 car, and in the morning is like, "Race my car and you'll see," and he made a better car. That feels tropey.
Yeah.
I wonder how true that was. And the other one, which is probably way easier to like fact check, was Hunt winning because he wanted it more. And I'm sure that that's not what that is. But I'm talking specifically about the race
Yeah.
in Japan at the very end where Lauda taps out because of rain. Hunt is in like fifth place because he still has his slicks on because Lauda
Yeah.
didn't take his off. He realized that's the bad call to make, had to go into pit. It took way too long. And then he came out and was way behind. He was like in sixth or fifth, and he needed to be third to win. And he
Yeah.
just does a better job. It's very exciting and very cool to watch. And it's a cool thing to end the movie on. Is
Mm-hmm.
that, I mean, we can look it up, but like, that
Okay.
feels like the trope of
Um.
like everyone else is racing like shit because they don't want it as bad as he does.
Yeah. So when it comes to out of all the things you said, the one thing that I'm 100% on
Mm-hmm.
is that he was in fifth. There were like 5 laps to go,
Yeah.
and he moved up into third.
Wow.
He did move up into third. There was confusion when he crossed the line.
Okay.
Because obviously the 70s they don't have the tech they do where they have like GPS markers on all of the cars
Sure.
via Wi-Fi and satellite and cellular signals, and they can pin where the cars are and how fast they're going. Like it's absolutely insane, like the tech that's involved
I'm
in
sure.
F1. So back then it was all eyeballs. So of course they got confused on what the finishing order was because
Wow.
cars lap each other, and you could have the winner, in first go over the finish line, but then some dude who's like 3 laps behind, who the first place driver and second place driver is lapping
Yep.
at the finish line, would technically be the second person over, but they're 2 laps behind. So the
Right.
person who technically drives over the line third is in second.
Yeah.
So they had stuff like that going on. And it wasn't until Hunt got back to the pits that they finally figured out that he came in third.
Wow.
And when he came in, he was convinced that he lost it. It was exactly like the movie. Like he was like, "Man, I thought I could do it and I couldn't." And his manager had to come over and be like, "No, man, you did it.
That's very cool.
Like that actually happened." Yeah. Now I did look up the thing on Google about Lauda. This is obviously the way I need to turn off AI assist. So this is AI. So take it with a grain of salt
Sure.
because we know how Google AI works. I asked, did Niki Lauda make the car as shown in Rush?
Yeah.
And it says, no, Niki Lauda did not build the cars himself, but he heavily influenced their design and performance through his meticulous feedback and scientific approach to racing, working closely with the engineers to improve car design and engineering, as demonstrated by his role in Rush.
Look, man, I can believe that, right? I can
Yeah.
believe that it was that. I mean, one of my favorite lines of the movie was him being like, "Look, I've got a great ass. I can sit in a car and through my ass I can feel what's wrong with the car." Really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Because, I mean, like, there's just some people, and it's something that is shown in history when it comes to racing, that there are just some drivers that come along that just know.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was this guy, I forget his name. I saw a documentary. He was an American driver. I think he died in the early 60s, late 50s. He did the like the 24-hour race
Oh,
at
right.
Le Mans.
Yeah.
Like he did those type of races, like the 12-hour, the 24-hour, the 8-hour, the 6-hour, like endurance races. He was an American. He was dominating those races, and his car slipped off on a corner. And again, this is late 60s, early 50s, so like no safety features at
Right.
all. And these guys were going like 160 miles an hour. He went dead on into a tree when he
Oh.
missed a turn.
Oh, awful.
So he didn't live.
No.
Um, but there's like this mythology around this guy, and like they were talking to people that knew him, and they were saying that like he would come into the pits and tell us that the top nut was loose on the suspension,
Ah.
and then they would go in and they would find that it was the top nut was loose, and or like there was something with the sway bar that like something wasn't set correctly, and he'd be able to just roll in and tell them like exactly what he thought it was, even though it was the most meticulous, stupid thing, and he'd be right.
Wow. I wish I had
And
that
so,
with
like every
anything.
now and then, you get a driver that can just do that.
That's incredible. I really love that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought that was cool. I again, those were tropes, but if they're true, that's very cool, and the tropes have to be built on
yeah.
something.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing that this movie brought up is I now totally get the Ballad of Ricky Bobby. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Will Ferrell movie?
Yeah.
Talladega Nights is what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
isn't his opponent in Talladega Nights Sacha Baron Cohen playing like a Frenchman?
He's playing a friend. Yeah. He
And
is.
like that's this, right? Like that is a direct reference to
Yeah.
Rush. It has to be, right?
Well, I don't. Well, I mean, when did Talladega Nights come out?
Talladega Nights came out, let me see, 2006. Oh no! Rush came out in 2013.
Yes, it did.
I thought I was making all kinds of connections here. Never mind. Never mind. Should have checked the
Okay,
date.
so the thing with Ricky Bobby, and I watched it once, like a few years ago after I slowly started this like fandom for F1. Um, the Frenchman in that movie is basically just like what they did. I'm convinced this is what they did. They asked a bunch of NASCAR fans what their stereotype of your average F1 driver was. Because I could see your average like NASCAR fan going, well, they're European, uh, like one, they're European and they're probably very high on themselves. Just going through like it's just a stereotype of like a European race car driver. Like that's
Sure.
literally all he is.
Okay.
Um, Now, at some point, even though I am not a NASCAR fan in the least, I couldn't be further away from being a NASCAR fan. In fact, I could, if I wanted to, be one, and it would be cheaper. Um, because of the streaming services that I have, I could watch every race and not have to like put another dime like into it. Like I'm paying like I'm paying extra to watch F1 because ESPN only broadcasts the only the car tracker for free with the ESPN Plus. You can't watch the actual race. You just hear what commentary is and you watch the dots go around in a circle.
Okay,
Or
look,
the street tracks. Yeah.
you've got to help me out here. What is it about NASCAR that you don't like compared to F1? Because to me,
Okay.
that's like you saying, I love vanilla ice cream, but you get that vanilla bean shit out of here. Like, it sounds like a slightly different version
Okay.
of the same thing. Or like Moroccan vanilla? Hell
So
no.
so one, it's a culture thing
Okay.
for me.
Okay.
It's the same reason why I don't identify with country music. It's why I
Sure.
can't really get into westerns. It's the same like it's kind of the same thing for NASCAR.
Okay.
It's kind of like a fan culture thing that I just can't get myself into. But here's the entertainment value that is there for me. I can follow 20 cars going around a track.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. That 20 drivers is enough that if I like I can't name even probably half of them on the spot,
Mm-hmm.
but during the race I know enough about the teams and the drivers that when I see their abbreviated names on the driver tracker that's on the side of the screen,
Mm-hmm.
I know who's who. I know what's going on. Like I'm rooting for the top bottom team to finish in the high teens. I'm hoping that the like the mid-range teams to be finishing in like seventh or sixth or fifth, and hoping that the team I follow on the top end, someone finishes within the top three at least.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's like 20 is enough for me. 20 I can handle. You've got like 50 cars on the track for NASCAR.
I don't know that I knew that.
How many cars race in
So let me tell you
NASCAR
my
championship?
NASCAR
36.
36.
In the NASCAR Cup Series, the championship is contested by a final group of 4 drivers, but the race itself is still held with a larger field, typically around 36, comprising of all eligible competitors from the playoffs and non-playoff teams. How many cars drive in a typical NASCAR race? 40 cars. So you're
That's
talking double. You're
okay.
talking double the amount of cars.
So
Yeah.
my childhood didn't prepare
No
me for this.
surprise.
So I was more exposed to NASCAR when I was little. My main exposure to
Yeah.
NASCAR was NASCAR 2000 for the N64. And I'm very sure they didn't have 20 cars. I just liked being Jeff Gordon because his car looked cool. That's
Yeah.
my only exposure to this. I don't know much about. I know that NASCAR is a circle, right? Like that's the difference. Is like you get less
Well,
complex tracks,
they
but
do
a circle.
they do have more street courses than they did before.
Oh.
So like they race in Chicago. They race on the streets in Chicago.
Oh, weird. Cool. I actually like
Yeah.
that.
Let me see. It's a Chicago NASCAR race. See when the next one's supposed to be. NASCAR will return to Chicagoland Speedway. Oh, Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois, for a Cup Series, July 5th, 2026. NASCAR Chicago Street Series.
Oh, I mean that's kind of cool.
Uh, yeah. So I mean, they are doing more street courses than they did before. I feel like that can only be good for the sport.
Sure.
Um, it's just there's I don't there's other aspects to it too. I don't know how the teams work.
Yeah.
I don't know what those are on like how many drivers per team. I have heard about like individual people owning more than one team,
Oh,
which personally I don't like that.
that's strange.
Like so like there are certain things about which I could be wrong, that could have changed. If I just do this live researching right now.
No, I
How
love it.
many NASCAR teams can a single person own?
Is there a limit in F1? Can you only own one?
Uh, un that I don't know. I will look. I believe one, but
Okay.
I can't say that confidently. Under a new 2025 charter agreement, a single person or entry can own a maximum of 3 NASCAR Cup Series teams with charters. This limit applies to any organization that did not already have 4 charters before the start of the 2025 season. And here's the thing, I don't know what charter means.
Okay. I don't either.
But the fact that it says they can own a maximum of 3 series teams. How many individual teams can a single person own in F1?
I just read that it's not a hard and fast rule
Yeah.
that you can own one,
Yeah.
but you can own multiple. There are some that like apparently there was like a Visa and Red Bull conflict. Red
Yeah.
Bull Visa Cash App.
Mm-hmm.
Um and they're like kind of a partner team or a sister team.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. Because you've got the Red Bull team that Max drives for, and then you have the white and blue cars, which is like the RB red red is Red Bull team, and they
Okay.
sometimes flip drivers around.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah, here we go. The most prominent example of this practice is Red Bull GmbH, which owns both the Red Bull Racing and Visa Cash App RB.
I mean,
Yeah. So they're
fortunately,
they're like yeah.
fortunately the movie doesn't go into that. I liked
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like ownership and in terms of they do address it like pretty well. Like
Yeah.
it's done well. I liked that in the beginning, like they were like, I bought the team, it's my team. We won't have cigarettes or condoms on it. It's just gonna be us. And I think he has like a patch
Yeah.
on it that's like sex machine
Yeah.
or something like that. Like it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then like at the end of it, at the end of the season when he didn't win, he was like, yeah, we actually were out for sponsors and this is a really expensive sport. Which, like,
Yeah.
of course it's expensive. I mean, I'm sure it's expensive for you to watch. I can't imagine the travel, the
Yeah.
gas, the getting the car from place to place and making sure that it's there in pristine condition. I like so
Yeah.
much logistics has to happen, and that's expensive.
Yeah, and part of the sport is having like caps on how much money the teams can spend on development, and there's rules about, like what type of fixes can be done in between, like qualifying the race itself. And I'm sure NASCAR has stuff like that
Yeah.
too. I am a little disappointed though that I learned that it's not like a hard fast, it's not like a concrete rule that you
Yeah.
can't own more than 2 teams. But what I so I am disappointed in that. But that's Red Bull as a corporation. I
Sure.
wish that wasn't the case, but it is. But what I had in mind when I made the statement about
Mhm.
like, one person can own multiple teams, like there's a single dude that owns the Aston Martin team. There's a single
Right.
person that like you know uh like Ferrari only has the Ferrari team,
Right.
and you've got Audi soon is going to have a team, um, and Cadillac is going to be having a team here. So there are going to be more cars on the track coming up,
Mm-hmm.
pretty soon. Um,
I heard. I just saw.
but yeah, yeah. Um,
I
but yeah, it's just
yeah.
NASCAR has been something that like I've tried to get into twice, and I can't.
Just can't do
I
it.
I just yeah, it's difficult.
You know what so again I left this movie, walked over to Romana and went, you know what, Romana, I get it, because we have a lot of friends and a lot of family that like F1. I mean,
Yeah,
Max Verstappen's Dutch, so
yeah,
they're Max Verstappen fans, right? It's the it's the home team, it's the home guy, right? They are
yeah.
rooting for Max Verstappen, and he's, by the very little I hear, he's killing it. So like, I don't know how he's
hmm
doing this year,
As
but
long as Red Bull, as long as Red Bull knows how to build a car, yeah.
so, okay, that was one thing this movie brought up in the very beginning, where it looks like Lauda had a better car, and
Yep.
Hunt was continually from McLaren given cars that just weren't good, and that he was losing
Yeah,
almost not from his own lack of driving ability, his own whatever. He was losing because the car kept failing him.
yeah.
Is that something that you see frequently?
So nowadays, when the cars fail, don't really see like it does happen, but it doesn't happen like it used to from like what I've like researched and from what I'm like finding out. Like, because I like to deep dive into history when I'm a
Sure.
fan of something. So, um, engines don't blow up like they used to.
Right.
You know, like, so they've got sensors all over the place, so they can tell when, like, hey, no, these readings are bad, shut the engine down now.
Oh wow.
So like
Okay.
the engine doesn't blow apart, you know, like 3 laps later,
Sure.
and they're having to shut the race down to pick up like 200 pieces of an engine off the off the track.
Fair.
Um, so you don't get that a lot, but what you do get is cars being where like the drivers are being told to come in, are being told to come in to retire the car.
Yeah.
You get drivers that will be going around the track and they'll bump each other, and it could seem superficial, but it was a bump just enough to like mess up some like, you know,
Sure.
support beam inside the vehicle, and they have to pull over and like stop. Um, Now it's more about quality and car setup, since all of the cars are like their aerodynamics are a little bit different
Mm-hmm.
and the components are different because it's different companies created them, but they're
Mm-hmm.
pretty much just the same across the board. Um, and so it just comes down to quality of build and the car's setup compared to the driver's strengths and weaknesses. And for a while, Red Bull and Max were like killing it when it came to like his driving style and their car setup
Nice.
and how fast the cars could go. And then something happened and they just bottomed out last year. They're having struggles this year.
Wow.
Um, and but it's usually almost always the top four: Mercedes,
Mm-hmm.
Red Bull, Ferrari, and McLaren are always usually the top four when it comes to like car quality. Everyone else is just kind of like racing for who comes within 10 and 5th.
Oh wow.
So,
You know
yeah.
what? It's one of those things where, like, to me, like, again, this is a source of ignorance. Car's a car, right? And all of the
Yeah.
F1 cars, at least to me, look the same, right? They got the scoopy front, they got the thing in the back, they
Mhm.
got the driver in the little cockpit. So I'm like, well, how different can these cars really be? And I'm sure if we get down to brass
Yeah.
tacks, they could be quite different. And I'm sure in a race like Formula
Yeah.
One, every little difference means something.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think that's
And
the part
that's
that I
yeah.
like.
Mhm. And where like you've got because the qualifications that the cars have to meet now are so strict. That's why almost all of the cars look exactly the same,
Sure.
except for like, you know, the angle of the wings on the front scoop and the angle of the wing on the back scoop and,
Wow.
you know, how the fenders are shaped. Like that's all unique between the that's all unique between uh, the teams and the different brands. Because if you take a Red Bull car and a Ferrari car and you check out like the molding
Mm-hmm.
of the car, the shape of the car, you will see that like things are different. They're
Yeah.
not the same car. But when they're on a TV screen going 180 miles an hour,
The blurs look similar.
yeah, and even though they're not blurry, this is HD. This is ultra high def. And you still have a hard time sometimes trying to pinpoint what the differences are between these cars.
Oh, I can
So
imagine.
I'm, I, yeah, I'm not going to fault anyone for saying or thinking that they are the exact same car because it would be like watching a Corolla and a Civic drive by really quickly.
Yeah. We're like, yeah,
Like they're both
they're similar.
compact cars. Yeah, like th- 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 they're both compact cars. They're both aerodynamic to get as much gas mileage as possible. The only difference is the design for styling.
Right.
F1's a little different where you have literal scientists going over the airflow over the car and trying to decide what the best airflow is for the most downforce without negating speed.
Mm-hmm.
And each team has their own formula for that. So you get these differences within the cars to, work that out.
But that's part of what
So
draws
that's
me
pretty
to
much
it.
where the differences externally lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when you told me, or I realized, or throughout the course of my life, I realized that like baseball's a head game, where like I just is
Yeah.
like, all right, man comes to plate, man has bat, man hits stick, man run plate, man don't touch ball. I'm like, oh, baseball, and
Uh,
like,
I wish it was that simple.
right.
I wish it
Well,
was.
it's the same thing for me. Like for driving, right?
Yeah.
For like F1, I'm like, I'm in a car that goes fast with other people that go fast, and if I went faster than the other people that go fast, I am fast first. And like that's what I figured it was. But like the movie does shed a lot of light on like Hunt visualizing the track to the point where he goes, I'll lightly tap on the brakes here, I'll then shift gears at this point, I'll counter steer here. Like every minute thing that he does is planned before he even gets in his car on the track.
Yeah.
Incredible. Like I
Yeah.
understand that I have to
And
memorize some things for my work. I've never had to memorize anything that complex for that many tracks.
yeah, and that's why like part of the race weekend, like the one that's coming up, the team will walk the track. Like they will literally walk the track, and you will see videos of the drivers and this is where being a team comes in. The whole team itself will walk the track,
Mm-hmm.
and the drivers sometimes come together and like strategize over turns
Wow.
and talk about like what angle, like it's like on this past turn we talked about coming out at this angle, but then if we still want to do that, we need to somehow get to this turn to be at this angle.
Right.
So how do we need to change our approach back there so we get to this one at this point? And like what their racing line is going to be. Like there's a lot more that goes into it that is very nerdy
Yes.
than is, on the surface seen. And
Yeah.
like the more I get into this sport and the more people I come across, the more YouTube channels, podcasts, like news segments, because F1 TV comes with their own like of like racing science and like racing strategy you can watch. That's maybe like 20 minutes long a clip. Like the more I find out about this stuff, the more I get interested in it.
Can I tell you my nerdy relationship to like where this like scratched that itch for me? So every half of a year, right? This happens 2 times a year. There is a thing on Twitch called GDQ, Games Done Quick. And what it is a showcase of people who can speed run video games. I'm a nerd, we know this. This isn't surprising. Now, what it is really on the face impressive. These are people like, I can beat the original Halo in 10 minutes. And you watch them play, and it's like, they jumped on this thing, they like clipped through the wall, they like killed this guy, they like ran through this thing. And like they have this like really complex series of routes that they take, and it's really interesting. But what really gets me about it, and what's really interesting about it, is that the person doing the speed run actually isn't even the most interesting person doing the speed run. What's more interesting is the hundreds of hours and all of the people that it took to get to that point. And watching this movie made me realize, like, it's not the driver. The driver is important. The driver is going to do what they can on the day. It's the people that read the tracks. It's the people that build the car. It's the people that, the pit crew. Like, there is a whole community that needs to get their shit spot on in order for that one driver to do that one thing that one time. And that, I think, is the coolest part for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and the support team is ridiculous. Like, so, some big differences between what you saw when it comes to pit crew stuff. I mean, first off, like you said that you have friends and family that are like into F1.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever been around when they were watching a race and
Never
you
in
were
my
just
life.
kind of like, well, I'm here. I'm stuck. Okay, so they showed them go out there with like classic jacks, jack up the car,
Oh, yeah.
change the wheel, and like it took forever, it
Yeah.
seemed, to like do this, even though they were doing it quick. The record pit stop a few years ago was 1.8 seconds.
What did they do? Pat the car and send it on its way?
That's okay. So
Who's a good car? Gone.
you saw it, yeah. So was it you saw how like they had like five guys come out
Yeah.
and like they did one side and then they went over to the other side and did the other?
Yeah.
Okay. Pit crews have so many people on them now. Now,
Oh.
I am going to quickly go over with you. I'm just going to give you the amount of people they have for one tire.
Okay.
Okay? You've got the person that has the gun, that has the
Yeah.
air-powered
Yeah.
like ratchet, okay?
Yeah.
Got that person. They're sitting on a knee with it in position at the height that it needs to be at before the car even pulls up, okay?
Holy shit.
You have four of those guys, one for each tire.
Of course you do.
You have a guy at the one side, let's say it's the left, that's holding the new tire. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You have a guy to the right who's ready to grab onto the tire as soon as the car gets jacked up and rip the tire off.
Wow.
So you have three guys, or three men and women per tire, and then you have the guy in front and the guy in back who both lift the car up evenly.
Wow.
They did all that in 1.8 seconds. I said it was a record. I think it's a record. It was a couple seasons ago. I remember seeing the time for it. The average pit stop time that I see is like 2 seconds.
That's crazy.
2.3 seconds.
Because I thought it was like
the car literally stops. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was like part of the strategy, right? Like, I know that I have to take like 5 minutes to get this changed. When do I have 5 minutes?
Yeah, so now they try to get like a 30-second gap, or like 25-second gap, or 40-second gap, depending on the track, depending on how long the pit lane is, because there's a speed limit in the pit lane, and there's a lane that you have to be going a certain speed by the time you hit that line. And sometimes it's funny because the drivers will come in and they'll slam on the brakes, and you get smoke coming out behind the car because they're literally skidding to the line and then lifting up off the and they can get into the pit lane at at or below that speed limit. And then what's really funny is when they came in because they absolutely have to come in, and they were like just at that 30-second gap, or they needed a 31-second gap or a 32-second gap, and they're 1 second below that. And so the pit crew's trying to go as fast as they can. So then the driver's like driving down pit lane, and then the camera angle shows the person that was following them is coming around the bend to go down the straight where the pit lane is. So then you can literally see, even though all of the drivers wear helmets, you just know that driver's going, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Right,
Like
right,
he's just like, it's like he can't go faster than a certain speed, and he's waiting to get to that white line and gun it, and
right.
try to get to another line after they get out of pit lane.
Mm-hmm.
That is like, okay, like this position's mine. Like if it's like if the person who's coming around that they're trying to stay in front of hits that one line
Mm-hmm.
and their nose goes over it first, then they get that position in front of them.
Wow.
If they can beat them there, then they keep their position pretty much.
That's cool.
And then you've got like at the end of the race, you got teams ragging on each other trying to say that one didn't leave pit lane the right way or they did this. Or everyone's trying to get everyone else knocked off 5 seconds off their time. Like it's that also intrigues me. All of the little nitpicking of the rules. Like in this movie.
They did it in the movie.
Ferrari knew ahead of time that car was too wide. They were keeping that in their back pocket in case
something happened.
They lost.
That's cool.
That they could do that and get the car disqualified. And I used a baseball analogy for, and this is where another one. So in this movie, James Hunt won, McLaren won, Niki Lauda, which in the movie it's portrayed that he's the one that pointed it out.
Yeah.
The Ferrari team knew that before the race.
Okay.
And they kept it in their back pocket as like a get out of jail free card.
Sure.
So Niki, I don't know if he's the one that first saw it or not, but someone in the team did before the race started, and they just kind of kept it in their back pocket. This gets to a baseball event that also happened in the 70s, I believe, or early 80s. The Yankees were playing the Royals, and there's a rule about how far up the bat pine tar can be to help batters have a grip on the bat. They were playing the game. This one guy, I forget his name, because of this event, he is pretty popular, and I feel bad that I can't remember. Like, he went up 3 times to bat already, and, it's like in the game. He finally goes up to bat this one time, hits a home run, puts the Royals in the lead. As soon as he hits the home run, the manager of the Yankees comes out, picks up the bat, and starts pointing to the pine tar on the bat.
Wow.
To the umpire. The umpire sees it, negates the home run, and the Royals player that hit that home run, came in a rage, came running out of the dugout, yelling and screaming, and started a fight between the teams.
That's so funny.
By all means, look it up. It's
a funny
video.
I found it. I see him. Is it George Brett?
That's that's yeah. So
I found
the pine tar incident.
Do yourself a favor. Google Royals player pine tar. The first image that comes up is incredible because it's just this man, and I don't know George Brett, right? But it's literally him in front of the dugout, just going "Wah!" Which is so funny.
Yeah. So it was the same exact thing. The Yankees knew his pine tar was too high up on the bat after his first at bat.
And they waited.
And they waited to see if they could use it to their advantage later in the game.
Wow.
Ferrari did the same thing to James Hunt at that race. So this is why, like, my favorite sport's baseball.
Yeah.
The same pettiness that happens in baseball, sign stealing, cheating is part of the game. I don't care what people say. Cheating's part of it. I tip my hat to the teams that figure out new ways to do it, that there's not a law or that there's not a rule for it. And but then later on they have to rule for it. Like, I tip my hat at those players, at those teams for being creative. Everyone does it. I mean, yeah, it's frustrating and people get angry about it, but that's part of the game. It's part of baseball history. It's part of American history. And there's so much overlap between like baseball and F1 that I never knew existed until I started getting into F1.
I mean, same for me until the movie.
Yeah.
So we talked about this. We talked about this before we did the podcast. Yes. Do you want to play fact versus real? Fact versus fiction?
Yeah, let's do that real quick.
Okay. I'm going to ask you the questions.
Okay.
Was Niki Lauda's real name the Rat? or his real nickname?
Yes.
So the answer is yes. That was true. It
Yes.
was a rat because Marlboro put a rat on his visor because of his teeth in real life.
Yes.
Gross.
Unfortunately, he did look a little bit like a rodent.
Hey, listen, what
before
was it?
before the crash. Before the crash.
Yeah, but like last summer was Rat Boy Summer, right? That was a thing, so he would have fit in really
Yeah.
well then.
Hmm.
Was
Oh, he
Nicky
would have
Lauda
fit in
really as
excellent.
serious a driver as the movie depicts?
I'm gonna say yes.
So the movie apparently overblows this. He was more serious than
Oh,
James
okay.
Hunt was. He would never drink before a race. He would certainly drink
Yeah.
after it, and he also had the thing that every race could be his last, like James Hunt did.
Oh, okay.
Was James Hunt's McLaren really disqualified after a race for being too wide?
Yes, that did actually happen.
Yep, that did happen. Was James Hunt really a playboy?
I'm gonna say yes.
From his own mouth, he goes, definitely a playboy. He often got roaring drunk,
Yeah.
took drugs, and once urinated in public at a race, causing fans to cheer when he finished. And it wasn't uncommon for him to race hungover. Great.
Yeah, that yeah. I mean, he's as far as I'm concerned, like he is the true stereotype for the average British man.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. Okay, so did Nicky Lauda really call a meeting for his fellow racers over safety concerns regarding the race at Nuremberg? Or
Yes.
Nuremberg? Yeah. Yes, he did. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the cause of Nicky Lauda's crash there accurately depicted in the movie?
Okay. So are you asking me what the movie depicted or what actually happened?
Yeah, is what the movie depicted accurate to real life?
Oh,
Because in the movie it was rear suspension
I think
failure.
yeah, it was rear suspension failure in the movie. You know what? I don't feel like I don't have the confidence in any answer.
You know, neither does the world. So the fact of the matter is that Nicky Lauda's car was in such a condition after the crash they couldn't really tell if the suspension failed or if it got blown away by part of the crash. All that they actually
Yeah.
know is that he did fishtail just before the crash, which either could have been rear
Okay.
suspension failure, which the movie showed, or he misread a
Yeah.
wet spot on the track, which caused him to fishtail.
Which definitely could that's happened to the best drivers.
Oh yeah, I'm
So,
sure.
I mean, it's part of what it's the reason why he called the meeting.
Yeah. Uh, did Marlene Lauda, his wife,
Hmm.
really want him to retire after the accident?
Yes.
Because that was a major plot point in the movie.
Yeah, I believe so.
So actually, no. So she
Ah,
actually goes and says it would have been wrong to take advantage of the accident to make him stop. It's up to him. I can't stop him racing. Which, like,
okay.
way to be supportive, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, because I guess that's the whole mentality of like, man, what movie was it that had quote of like, have you ever seen what happens to a wild beast when they're trapped behind
Yeah.
bars? And do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Uh
there's
huh.
that line where someone tries to tell someone, yeah, okay. Oh, that was Triple X. That was Triple X movie.
That was Triple X. Ugh.
That was Samuel L. Jackson telling Vin Diesel that, trying to get Vin Diesel to work for the government. Oh my God, that was one of my favorite movies as a teenager. Yes, I remembered that.
Oh, I'm so happy. All right, this is the last one. Um,
Okay.
was Nicky Lauda disappointed, like he was in the movie, that James Hunt won the
Yeah.
1976 championship as a result of the race in Japan? This is one of the coolest answers for me, whether you get it right or wrong.
Okay. So I am going to say, I'm going to give you my answer. I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
he wasn't upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because I saw an interview with him a while ago, and I think it might have been part of the thing that I sent you,
Yeah.
um, where he says that like it was a decision that he made and he's just sticking with it. Like he made that decision and he's lived with it and he's fine with it. It was like that's pretty much what he kind of said.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
So you're right that he wasn't actually disappointed. His reason that he
Yeah.
gives, and this is what I thought was cool, is that unlike in the movie, they're not extreme rivals. That whole
Yeah.
speech he gives at the end of like, "You're a rival, you've given me so much," and blah blah blah. They're friends. They were friends this whole time. They were considered good friends, or would consider each other good friends. And in fact, after losing the championship to Hunt, Lauda says, at the same time that I was there, if anybody should get the championship, then I'm happy it's James. I liked him. We were not buddies, but we're at least simpatico. We took care of each other from the heart in a very nice way. And like that's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how you said that like we're
Mm-hmm.
teammates, but when they're on the track, I hate them. Like there's this duality
Yeah.
where you have to be fierce on the track, but off the track, they're just cool with each other.
Yeah. And sometimes that relationship can get strained, and sometimes that's also done up by like the media surrounding F1.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, I already named these two modern players, Max and Lando Norris.
Mm-hmm.
So like they, as far as I know, they're friends. They were friends. They're two young guys. They're two young guys that hang out. They do Gen Z things. I don't know how else to say that. I am 40 years old and I'm out of touch. Uh, so, they do, whatever they do when they're friends.
They
Now, there
connect,
was
collect
some
Labubu's.
like, yeah, exactly. There was some tension between them because Max did something off the track that was kind of like being like, oh, it's like, that's gonna be kind of, like that was something you do to someone you hate.
Yeah.
And so there was some speculation between their friendship, but I'm still convinced that they're fine. Like I'm convinced that they're probably still friends. It's the way that it's the way the racers are.
Yeah.
And even though I don't know one F1 racer that is not a rich spoiled brat, and I'm fine with that because I know exactly who they are. They don't pretend to be anything that they don't pretend to not be that.
Yeah.
They live it out, and I'm like that. And I've always said this: of all of the sports that I follow, of all of the teams that I follow, of all of the athletes and drivers that I follow, I would rather have the most obnoxious, egocentric people on the teams that I follow, as long as they know how to play as a team.
Yeah.
Because those are the people who are going to suck one day and be able to forget it or learn from it and go out the next day and try it again.
Yeah.
Because the last thing I want is someone on a team that I'm following who can't get over the fact that they blew like a 9-point lead. And it's like, okay, it happens. You play 165 games a season. Get over it.
Yeah, you have to do this next one better, man.
Yeah, like it's just the way it is. And so I would rather just be you are. If you're a jerk, you're a jerk. Just
own it, man.
Yeah. So,
if you're adult,
yeah.
if you're an adult character from Bob's Burgers, just own it.
Dude, I love Bob's Burgers.
It's so
Every
good.
single episode
It's
is
so
better.
good.
Every single episode is better. I saw the one where Gene puts on the rival musical.
Where
in
it
the
was
basement,
it was what was it? Die Hard, right?
Yeah. A musical of Die Hard. Oh my God, it was perfect. And then at the end, it's a combination of Die Hard and Working Girl.
Yep.
And I'm just like, that has got to be the best combination ever.
It's a good show, man. It's so good. I want to watch it now.
Great. I saw the one where the turkeys get loose.
Oh yeah, that's a good
and
one
they
too.
have to take the tickle boat.
Yep.
And they have to take the.
Oh man,
I love Bob's like drunk like
Yep.
buying a turkey at the store, and there's like a wild turkey's just there behind him. And he's like, "Oh, I just found him like this. I didn't do it." Like he's trying to justify to the turkey why he's holding a frozen turkey.
Yep. You know what? I'm gonna at one point I'll make you guys watch the movie, and that'll be what we do for the podcast.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great. One thing, so just so you guys know,
Mm-hmm.
I said my piece about NASCAR. I don't like it for myself. I don't hate it. It's not a stupid sport. I feel like anyone who watches the show knows that enough about me that if I don't like something, I'm talking for myself and no one else. I'm not going to say that someone's stupid because they like something I don't.
You're all right, man. I get it.
But the reason why I'm saying that is because at some point I am gonna have you guys watch Days of Thunder.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Because I absolutely love Days of Thunder.
I'm curious to see it then.
Yeah, so that will be happening at some point. Not any time within the next few months because I only get like one to two a month, and I have like 4 or 5 picks to do before I get there. So it's gonna be a
That's fair.
little bit.
Hey, that's totally fair.
But yeah. So yeah, Days of Thunder will be coming up at some point.
Perfect. Well, that's all I have for Rush.
Yeah, and honestly, same here.
Cool.
So we're good. So then we're good on talking about 1970s F1 then.
For now, it'll come up again.
Okay. Okay. So thank you for watching. If you've been leaving comments, I apologize that we didn't respond to them simply because it's just the two of us. My internet is kind of like capped when I do this, which is why I get to be kind of staticky sometimes. So I can't be looking. Devon has got his stuff going on, so he can't. But thank you for engaging if you did.
Mm-hmm.
If you watched all the way through, I don't know how you do it, but thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we do. You'll be able to watch this and any other episode we've done on our YouTube channel at You Have to Watch This Podcast. Subscribe, like us. We are on really any podcasting platform you can be on. We're on Spotify, and I found us on Apple. I've seen us on Podbean. I've seen us on just about thing. So if you want to listen to us on audio and not have to look at us and our faces, that's fine too. You can also find I believe we have a website with Rum Runners.
We do,
I believe, podcast network.
Yeah.
So from there, you'll be able to find other podcasts that are within our network. Not all of them are about movies. I think we might be one of two that are about movies. I think there's a food one and some other stuff. So definitely check out them. So yeah. But other than that, thank you for watching. You Have to Watch This Podcast. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devon.
And start your engines.
Oh, I love it. No, this is good.
Funnier to